Hello and welcome. My name is David Macon. Today's title is Jesus Wept. John 11:35, Jesus wept, is the shortest verse in the Bible. You can find it in the telling of the death of Lazarus, which is found in John 11:1-45. See below for the complete text. Let me do a quick setup for you. Jesus is near Bethany over the Jordan. I know that sounds like a made-up name, but it is an actual place. Here are some pictures, and a link to the World Heritage website is below. Jesus is teaching near where John baptized him. This is about 2 days from Bethany, where Lazarus lives. He gets news that Lazarus is sick. He says that it will not end in death and waits. After 2 days, he heads to Bethany. When he gets there, Lazarus has been dead for 4 days. This is very important. Jewish beliefs said that the soul stayed near the body for 3 days before moving on. After that, there was no hope. Also of great importance is that Jewish customs gave 3 days of private mourning. On the 4th day, friends and extended family came to pay their respects to the family. This meant there was a sizable crowd there along with Jesus and the disciples. You know the rest. He goes to the tomb and raises Lazarus. Why? Let's look at some of the details. When he got to Bethany, Martha met him and said, "If you had been here, my brother would not have died." Mary then came to Jesus and said, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." Some of those in the crowd said, "Could not he who opened the eyes of the blind man have kept this man from dying?" Some heavily implied criticism there because they only saw Jesus as a healer. You know the rest. Before raising Lazarus, Jesus wept. This has always made me wonder, why would Jesus weep? He knew he would raise Lazarus and that his death was not permanent. The answer is in the Aramaic word used for wept. That word only appears one time in the whole Bible. When you examine how people use that word in non-biblical teachings of the first century, you find it means to cry from frustration. Next question, why was Jesus frustrated? A few verses later in John 11:42, we find the answer. "I know that you always hear me, but I said this for the benefit of the people standing here, that they may believe that you sent me." Despite being with Jesus for over 3 years, the disciples still do not fully understand that he, Jesus, is the Son of God. Because of that, he must call his friend back from death to a broken world and to die a physical death again. We have all lost someone close to us. Would any of us really condemn that loved one to suffering and dying again? I would not. Yet that is what Jesus had to do. Jesus did something very hard that they would believe and be saved. If this were a Hollywood story, we would get to see the rest of Lazarus' life and what happened to Mary and Martha. No. This is the last we hear of Lazarus, and because the story is not about Lazarus. Great story, it leaves us hanging, but the disciples finally understood that Jesus is the Son of God. It happened a very long time ago. That's the end of it. What does that have to do with us? No. If you read your Bible, you will find out that this comes up again in John 17:20, when Jesus is praying in the garden. Their message refers to the disciples. My prayer is not for them alone. I pray also for those who will believe in me through their message. And in John 20:29, when the risen Christ appears to Thomas and showed him his wounds, then Jesus told him, "Because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." We are the one hearing their message and believing without seeing. Jesus wept for us. Thank you and blessing.